Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anu. I'm a holistic mindset and life coach, and I'm here to remind you that you can be, do, and have anything that you want. I offer one-on-one coaching, I do individual calls, and I also offer a package of 28 days, which includes 2 calls per week and daily exercises for 28 days, where we focus on changing your mindset so that you can achieve your dreams and goals. Today's video is on the power of storytelling, and this came to my mind because I was talking to 2 friends of mine which are in a relationship, and I am close to both of them. They had a recent fallout. I spoke to them individually, and it was fascinating how the woman in the relationship had her set of story that she narrated what went wrong, and the man, who's also a good friend of mine, talked about his version of the story. I use the term version because that's what we do. We have versions of our stories. Today I want to address this because this can be a breakthrough when you understand how much of storytelling we are doing constantly in our minds, not even out loud, but the inner dialogue that we have, the inner speech, what a lot of people say, is nothing but a storytelling that goes on constantly. I often talk about being the new version of you. That was the entire concept behind starting the channel, a new you, a new version of you, a new identity of you. But what stops us from embodying that new version of us is our past story, is our past experiences. When you find it difficult to manifest something or to change something, to achieve something in your life, is because you still identify as the character from your old story. And this old story is nothing but a narrative that goes on in our mind. Now, I'm not saying that you do it deliberately. You take time out and you sit and you brood and moan about what happened in the past, but it is a very automatic thing until you catch yourself doing it. Now, a very simple exercise which I use with all my clients after we've agreed for the coaching and everything, the first email has to be a little brief story about your life. And more than often, people in these emails, the first email, elaborate their past experiences, focusing more on what they think is the hurdle or the reason why they are stuck today, or the reason why they cannot have something. For example, in relationships, they tend to outline all the things negative about their partner, which they assume, see, these are the reasons why this relationship is falling apart. Or when it comes to finances or a job situation, it's usually elaborating these blockages from the past where they've had a certain experience or their relationship to money. So we have very solid memory of all these calamities related to a certain topic in our life where we feel stuck at the moment. But you have to understand that change is inevitable, change is constant, change happens all the time. And for this, I want to get a bit candid and talk about a recent conversation I was having with one of my brothers. And we were talking down the memory lane, childhood stories, and my brother spoke about something of me as a teenager, how I was. If I were to tell that to my friends now, that I have my recent friends from, past 5 years, especially after I moved to Switzerland, they would not be able to relate to those characters or those attributes in me as a person that they know now. So I am the youngest one in the family. I've got 2 big brothers. My memory of me as a baby or toddler is quite vivid in my eldest brother's memory because he was 4 when I was born. And he has more stories to talk about when it comes to that part of my life. But these are just the stories that I've heard about me. Then when it comes to me in school, I was completely different. I was the child who no one knew existed. I was very academically inclined. So my focus was books, knowledge, grades. That's all. I never made friends. I never went to any social events. I hated this stage. I detested anything when it comes to crowds and being on the stage or talking to people. I never participated in any school activities unless it was said that this is mandatory. Then I would do it. But I would do it as if someone has asked the world out of me. That was my character in school. When I was in college, I was a different person. In my 20s, I was completely a different person because I lost both my parents. First, my father when I was 21 and my mother when I was 29. So my 20s was just struggle, depression, grief, anger, resentment, gloomy, all of that. My early 30s was a person who had seen the darkest place. And now I'm a person who talks about life, who talks about goals, who talks about dream. The reason why I'm taking you through these different milestones of my life is because I was never constant. I kept changing. 10 years back in my mid-20s, if somebody would tell me, you would become a person who would inspire people, who would tell them to get up from the floor and live life, go achieve their dreams, and have your heart open, be open for everything because there's nothing to be afraid of, I would not be able to relate to it because I was not in that place. I was in a place where there was betrayal, there was hurt, there were people leaving, there were people dying, there were problems with health, and everything grave that you can imagine in existence. That was my reality. But when I look back, it was a story. And if I make that my character and I take that character to the grave with me, who is losing out? You have to know that every day when you wake up, you have a new chance, you have a new choice to make. You have the free will to decide who you want to be, not just when you wake up, but every moment of your life. You are given the chance, you're given the opportunity to become something new, to embody something new. But what do? We wake up in the morning and we say, yeah, same as yesterday. I want to remember what happened yesterday and my boyfriend broke up with me or my husband left me or my child did something wrong and my bank balance is so and so. We reinforce these stories in our mind with our internal speech, with our internal dialogue. And then, of course, that's what we experience. And then we draw conclusions that this is how my life is going to be. But how many times have we questioned that that's actually what we ask for? That's actually our choice. So when I talk about these different milestones in my life, when I was 5 years old, 10 years old, 20, 30, yes, these stories were different. My personalities kept changing. But what was constant throughout all these 30 odd years of my life? If even these personalities were not constant, my likes, my dislikes are not the same. If even that is not constant, then what was constant? How do I have all of these memories? Because I am aware of it. The only thing constant throughout my existence was my awareness to these stories, was my awareness of these characters or attributes, qualities. I am aware of them. So I'm not even any of these characters that I could pick up from my entire storyline. I'm not this, I'm not that. I might be different tomorrow. I have another channel which I don't operate anymore. I've stopped it, I think 5 years ago or 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But that was beauty related. So I did everything, makeup, skincare, reviews, all of that. That personality was completely different. This personality is completely different. The only thing that's constant is my awareness. My awareness of, yes, I remember this used to be me. I am aware that I was also a person in my 20s who did all of that. So I am aware of it. Am I that? I am not anymore. Am I this? I am aware of this now. The entire reason why I elaborated so much on the past is because we tend to suffer from our memories. We tend to suffer from the past. And here's the thing, the past or your memories do not exist until you want them to exist. Repeat that in your head slowly again. The past or your memories do not exist until you want it to exist. Until I have this reflection, I bring forth my memory from the past. It's not here. It is in my imagination. Now, I'm not saying that we have to dismiss our past, we have to dismiss our memories, it's meaningless, it's insignificant, none of that. I love my beautiful memories from the past, my beautiful memories with my family. And sometimes it's the fuel to my engine, my day-to-day life. That's the fuel. When we sit together and we talk about family, we talk about these funny things we did as kids, it brings me joy because I know I was a part of that somehow, but I don't have it here right now. So it's a beautiful story to remember. The problem is when you have had some kind of adversity in the past, we all have in any intensity, any shape or form. We cannot deem anything of less gravity or more, or less intensity or more intensity. We all have had our journeys, we all have had our challenges, whether it's heartbreak, whether it's grief. When we sit and just keep repeating that and we cannot let go of that, it holds us back from experiencing a different future. It holds us back from experiencing even a different now, because now is all that we've got. So what we do mostly when we are stuck in a loop, when we are stuck in this cycle of having the same experiences again and again, I was cheated once and I only come across any relationship, then I'm experiencing the betrayal again and again, is because I play that story in a loop. And I'm not saying that the past was not painful. It was. But what was the purpose of that pain? If you sit long enough with that pain, with that story, and you try to understand that this is just a memory and this is just a part of the whole truth, it's just a little facet of the whole grand totality, that's when you take your power back, where you say, okay, this happened. I'm not dismissing it. I'm not calling myself crazy or delusional that that never happened. It happened, okay. But I also have to remember it was just one of these experiences out of the lots of other experiences, which I'm sure were also beautiful. Then why don't we choose that? Out of 100 things, if 90 things have been nice and 10 things have been bad, we are so adamant of sitting with those 10 things that were bad, 10 things that did not work out for us. Those, and we dismiss the 90. Once you understand this is your biggest weapon when it comes to mindset change, because your mind is going to throw tricks and it is going to remind you of your limitations. It is going to remind you of what's happened in the past. How can you take this leap of faith? Do you remember how many times you fell down when you did that in the past? But that's the thing. It is alive only because you choose it, only because you give it the power to exist. Otherwise, it's just a memory. It's somewhere back in the file, in the archive. But we wake up every morning and we're like, yeah, let's go to the archive, 2010. What miserable thing happened then? And for lunch, I'm going to have some miserable thing that happened in 2012. For dinner, I want some miserable thing back from the archive, which happened 5 years ago. Whatever the case is, or what happened yesterday, it's not here now. Because now is a new start. Now, right now, while you are watching this video, right now, you are given the chance to choose a new story, to choose a new character, to choose a new version of your life. But who can do it? Only you, because you have to be aware enough. How do we do that? How do we come back to the center again and again? Simple. By reminding ourselves. We all have that power, ability, capacity to come back, to remind ourselves who we are, to be in the present. Meditation, if you can. But remind yourself, I am aware of just this now. The past is a memory from my archive. It is there, but it is not valid until I give it the power. So long story short, I'm not asking you to dismiss your memory. I'm not asking you to resist memory. Oh my God, that's even worse. If you have any memory from the past that comes to you and you build walls and you try to fight it, don't do any of it. It's just a story. Let it happen. Let it unfold. but give it the ending that you wanted in your favor. That's your power. That's where you say, okay, all of this casualties and this drama that happened, but I choose the ending. I choose to say, okay, I had this memory from the past which was so catastrophic, but it happened. It's not going to happen again because those days are over. Anything. This is just one example out of infinite. Whatever you choose, whatever works in your favor, give that meaning to everything in your life, including your memories. If you have memories of the people who've passed on, people that you've loved, or maybe you're not in contact with those people and they still exist on the physical plane, instead of feeling sad and feeling lost and depressed and marinating in that, you can just tell yourself, wow, that was such a beautiful connection. That was something that was so wonderful. Redirect the story. Don't get stuck. Don't let your ego win. Don't let your mind win over that. And if you still sit with the narrative of being a victim and you sit with the narrative of, yeah, but my past was hard, my past was difficult, nothing good ever happened to me, nothing ever worked out for me, blah, 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 then that's your truth. Because you keep repeating that story. Again, waking up every morning, telling the universe, same order as yesterday. Same thing that I've ordered for 35 years of my life. Please give me that. If you want that. But if you truly want change, change your story. Change the internal speech that you have. There you have to be your own police. You have to understand awareness. You have to understand, and again, it's simple. You don't have to take a course of 5 years to understand awareness. You are now aware of my voice. You are now aware of how I look. You are now aware of my gestures. I tend to use my hands a lot during videos, but you are aware of it. That's awareness. It's not anything which is a hidden secret or a gift. Maybe you're going to pay a bit of attention more on my hands now because I gave you that suggestion. That's awareness. Spending hours on phone where people reinforce and justify being a victim, you give away your power. Take control of your life. Sit in the driver's seat of your life. No one can do it for you. And remember that you are spending most of your life in your head. Majority of the time, you are spending in your own head. You're constantly having a narrative in your head. That is your internal dialogue. That is your internal speech. Be aware of it. And no matter what, let that internal speech be in your favor. Nothing short of that. Whether it's your memories, your past stories, your past experiences, anything that you decide to pull out of your archive, make it in your favor. And then see how life changes for you drastically just by doing this. Being aware of your internal speech, being aware of that critique that sits in your mind and then stops you from doing something, reminds you of your failures, reminds you of your betrayal. You don't want to be living the rest of your life marinating in that same kind of pain because the pain is actually not there. You let it be alive by bringing it out from the graveyard. So that's the video for today. I hope it was useful. I'm there to help you. If you have any doubts, any questions, you can leave it in the comment section below, or you can drop me an email. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like the video. It would mean a lot to me because then it goes out to people who might be interested in similar content. I will see you all next week. Sending you lots of love. Bye.